in as on the board? Nah, look, not ready for that. Was been told no. Look, for Gisborne Soccer Club, like I said, that passion is important. You just got to bring back that passion and that spark. You know, why are we all here? Why are we doing this? And it's to have events, well, not even events, not to have people like me talking to you, but to have people behind the bar, people donating their time to cook in the kitchen. Like, we forget that a lot of the time we play sport to become superstars. That's not necessarily the case. We actually play sport because, you know, we've got 20 best mates around us where we can talk, you know, absolute smack, have a laugh. And I think that's important too, because, you know, 1% will go on, sorry, I'm going a bit, 1% will go on and be superstars. But, you know, this environment's very special to grow up in. I grew up in a change room, and I loved it. A great question. Nice.
So you play with obviously a lot of good players against. Is there any players you come up against that you are just in awe of their how good they were or big reputation?
Oh, look, every week, to be honest. Some of the players I got to play, I played against Messi, who was just a freak. Like, I played against some players that, you know, in the Asian Champions League just recently, and who played in China now. So China's becoming massive, so they get the best of, you know, pay ridiculous money to these players. And it's actually embarrassing because they get the ball and they're not even looking at you. Like, they don't acknowledge you because in their mind they've already beaten you. You're easy. They're past you, so they can just get past you, no worries. They're already looking at the next pass, and they're that good that they can afford to do that. And that just comes down to ability and talent. And you know, you look at teams over in Europe and they've got about 10 of those players. They're just freaks of nature. Like I said, think about the best athletes in Australia all playing the one sport since they were young. You know, I was talking to a boy who was in Holland playing for Ajax, who's got one of the biggest academies, and they live at the training ground. They're 8-year-olds. So they train in the morning, school at the club, school, lunch, train, dinner, go home. That's from 8 years old. And they do that up until, you know, they're ready for the first team. And they're just creating unbelievable players with that, with athletes as well. So you make that mix and it's scary.
Who was someone that didn't quite go on that you thought when you were younger or even older, you thought this quite possibility, went through injury or attitude or not getting the go like you said for the coach? Anyone that sort of sticks in your mind?
There was a lot of players who kind of just, you know, disappeared into the wind. There's just, again, a mix of not having that opportunity or giving up after they didn't get that first opportunity. I think genuinely, if someone's got talent, and willing to work hard enough and be patient enough, eventually that opportunity will come and you'll be ready to take it. So I have mixed feelings when someone says, "Oh, he's really talented, but he's just having a bit of a down period now." No, to make it, to be really good, to be the best, you've got to be prepared to sacrifice. You've got to be patient. You've got to be working hard all the time. Otherwise, you don't deserve to make it. Sometimes I play against players that, you know, one day are unbelievable and the next they're terrible. You need to have a consistency line. And if you're up like this, you know, there's no point. You just don't know what you're going to get. So that's something I'm trying to implement into victory. You know, having a constant standard. You can feel terrible, but you still got to be able to hold that line. If you can't hold that line, then, you know, you've got to question whether you should be here in the first place. So it's something that, and it's hard. It's really hard. It's hard to implement, and something that we're working on through the academy as well. And, you know, hopefully one day we'll get there. Again, good question.
Do you ever see a time, Carl, when Australia can be a legitimate super nation in football?
You just got to get rid of all these other sports. No problems. Look, I find it hard. Realistically, I find it hard. I think we'll have generations that, you know, will have a boom, like what we saw, definitely not mine, before mine in the 2006 World Cup. there was a boom of just great players who played the game. So you ride those waves, but it's really hard. And because Australia is massive, like we forget, like Australia's huge. Like to get anywhere, it's just ridiculous. In Europe, you know, everyone's really close. So we have that problem as well. And like I said, there's so much. It's a competitive landscape. Like, and there's so many good opportunities. Like you can play at Gisborne Soccer Club. You can come here and play cricket. You can come here and play footy. You know, there's so many temptations. Like, you know, you just want your kid to play and be happy. But whereas in Europe, the only good facilities are football places. So it's a bit of a catch-22. But you know, as long as I think, you know, my wife is like, oh, they're going to play soccer, they're going to be really good at soccer. And I'm like, I don't care, you know, just as long as they're having fun. I think, you know, sometimes as parents we could be a little bit pushy. I think just have fun. If they're having fun and they're driving it, great, you know. But if they don't make it, it doesn't matter, you know. I think, I went a bit off topic there, but I think as parents, you know, we kind of need to be more open-minded sometimes too.
Moose, in the back.
Yeah, is that part of the problem, you think, with Australian football and why nations like Argentina, Brazil are so good? Because, you know, we've got nice shoes, we've got good houses, all this sort of stuff. But in those countries, the drive to get out of the situation they're in, is that what drives them to be such good nations?
100%. They have nothing else. Sometimes they don't even have an education. They don't even have a school to go to. So that's a big thing. We do have a very good life here in Australia. I speak a lot to the foreigners who are coming in now to Melbourne Victory, and I help them with their relocation and, you know, getting to find their feet. And the first thing they say is, wow, you guys have got it good here. And it's true, we are very lucky and we're blessed, and I think we take advantage of it at times. So we should be more mindful that, hey, this is awesome, this is unbelievable, and I think we still whinge and moan about it, but we're in a pretty good spot. And I 100% agree with you, mate. You go to any country in the world other than Australia, and they're playing barefoot on the street with a soccer ball that's in tatters. You know, here, my daughter won't step on the pitch unless she's wearing the same boots as some of the players that she sees at Melbourne Victory. So, and I'm not saying it's her fault, it's just the way they've grown up. And that's fine. I'm happy we're growing up here in Australia.
Soccer, future in Australia?
Yeah, 100%. My two girls leading the way. Yeah, women's soccer's come a long way. Again, I just think it's great that we're actually making superstars as women. I think superstars are great for a few reasons. You know, they drive your nation, but they also create idols for young people to look up to, and you need good heroes for young kids. You really need that these days. And, you know, I do a lot in the mental health space, and, you know, just having someone to look up to, you know, Sam Kerr to look up to is fantastic for a young woman, just to keep her involved in activities like this. I think, you know, my wife never thought about doing soccer or playing any team sport, and that was normal for her back then, but now she's realised, you know, soccer and Gisborne Soccer Club, and, you know, she's more into it than I am. So, you know, I think it's great, and, you know, across all sports, even, you know, the women's AFL, I think it's fantastic. The more we can create environments like this for our youth, for our seniors to grow up, to grow up in and to just be, I think it's fantastic. Because, you know, to see, well, this is amazing, honestly, guys. The fact that you're still here listening to me on a Thursday night, and, you know, all here had a great feed. It's honestly beautiful, and I'm really proud of the club. It's great, and just reiterates, you know, why I moved to Gisborne. I wanted this community feel, and it's fantastic.
Unreal. Any more questions?
One. So you've got an ambition to play. Have you got that same ambition to coach?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Coach, like I said, thing that I came to realise, like I said before, players, sports players, athletes in general, just think they're athletes and they're good for that. But we actually can bring a lot more to the table than what people think. Like, I'm in an office environment. It's pretty cruisy in an office, by the way. Long lunches, you know, people disappear for coffees 4 times a day. It's very cruisy, but as athletes, we're hard driven. Okay, I'm saying to my boss, you know, what am I doing next? What am I doing next? at my 3-month review, he said, take it easy, Carl. Don't worry about what you're doing next. Just relax, mate. And he said, I get it, but don't worry about it. Let's just take a step back. And I think athletes can bring a lot more into that admin space, especially in sports. So I'd like to see players, athletes in general, not transition onto necessary coaching. There's 1,000 coaches out there, and there's coaching at the end of the day. For me, the best coaches are good people who understand players, who put the players on the same page. That's all a coach has to do, really. Because there's a million different ways to win a footy match, a cricket match, a soccer match. Just everyone has to understand each other's in the best way, what triggers people, understanding people. A coach, it's difficult, not saying it's easy. But a lot of players think, oh, that's a natural progression for me, I'll just do that because it's easy. No, we actually need you to get in behind and get in there and start making decisions that will better the sport. And I think AFL have been really good at it. Cricket, I'm not too sure, but it's definitely lacking in soccer.
Waitsy.
Yeah, just when you were saying in Italy you were playing in, I think it was 3rd division when you started to work your way through. As you started to progress, how quickly did the facilities increase as you stepped up, and the money? Was everyone a significant step and a significant increase in money, or was it?
Yeah, it was. Like, obviously, economically, yeah, you climb up. The 3rd division is an interesting league because it sounds like, bad league, but the coach I had there was awesome. Like, he didn't play me in the first 6 months, so I hated him, of course. And he started to play me, I loved him. And he actually took me to my next 2 clubs, that same coach. So I was really lucky. And I went to 3rd division, I played 3rd division, we won 3rd division, went to 2nd division, went to another 2nd division, and we won, and I was in the Serie A at the time. So it was a long process. And it's a cutthroat industry, it was really hard to win. You're playing against, we played 52 games a season, and it's full on. There was one time we were going to get relegated, so that means you drop down. And the president's like, well, if you get relegated, I'm going to pull the pin, and I'm not going to fund the club anymore. And that means we lose our jobs. That's 30 players without a job having to find a club. But in Italy, I went through it all. There was players selling matches, and it was a terrible time. But it was just Italy's a crazy place, but their passion for football is amazing. And the school, how I learned to play football, it kind of complemented my style because they're very tactical and methodical. So it really taught me, it added on to what I was already good at, my body positioning, reading the game. And coaches loved that about me, and they knew what they were going to get from me, so that's why I kept finding clubs essentially. And yeah, I think the Italian league started to drop off probably the last couple of years I was there, economically, so money-wise. But I think now it's starting to pick up, and you'll see every league kind of goes in cycles.
You've touched on mental health a couple of times. I think it's harder now for younger kids to come through with pressures of social media and all these, as well as the talent, skills and dedication and hard work, compared to when you were growing up, going through the ranks, we were, get a concrete, good arm, kicked each other to death.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is harder now or then?
Definitely now, I think. Just because, like I said, as an athlete in general, you constantly judge. How many runs you make, how many wickets you take, or what you're doing. You're constantly judged on everything you do. You get skin folds, you get weighed every morning. How you feeling? How's your muscle soreness? What you're doing? And then add on top of that, Fox Sports hammering you when you're losing. Social media, people are ruthless on social media. Like, I experienced that, and I've got thick skin, and I can take it. But imagine growing up and then just copying it. Like, some of the boys, and I'm not saying it's wrong, first thing they'll do after the game is get their phones out and look at things. And I don't know what they're looking at. I don't really care. It's up to them. But some of the feedback is very brutal, and I think that's playing a part on that. We've got so many means to judge one another, There's so many ways to just say, damn, your pharmacy's crap, Thanks for that crap medication, Imagine copping that. And that's sometimes, and that's sometimes, you know, how direct it is. I mean, a few of you may sympathise with me, but it's honestly brutal, and people are really ruthless, and especially in Australia. It's pretty bad in Australia. Like in Italy, you know, they threaten to burn our cars and stuff like that. That's pretty bad in Italy, come to think of it. But you know, it is what it is. But it is affecting young kids, and like I said, I've touched on it a few times. Okay, mental health, being aware of it, I think, number one. But also environments like this, like, it's great because everyone feels safe here. And I can see that. And that's important for you, for me, for the young fellas, for everyone.
Just a quick one. Over the last 20 years, you've had some great players. In your view, who's the best? The Duke of Fuel, those sorts of players, those ones.
Great, I'm glad you... No, Mark Viduka is definitely the best. So Mark Viduka, he's the most underrated, humble human being you will ever meet. He's about 6'6". He has a head the size of his glass table. He's Croatian, and I love Croatians. I grew up with a very close friends, and they're known for these big heads, but this big head was massive. And I made my Socceroos debut, which is playing for Australia for the first time with Mark Viduka. And I remember just getting the ball and looking up and seeing his head and just passing it to the head. And he was huge, he was massive, he had everything. He was graceful, he was quick when he needed to be, he could do everything. And you know what, he never said he was the best, he was really just down to earth. Even now he's disappeared off the face of the earth, he doesn't want to have a bar of it. And, you know, he was a true gentleman and someone that I looked up to, and someone I wished I played with longer. I only got to play probably 2 years with Mark. But he's the type of person who, you know, he's come to victory games before, but he doesn't ask for tickets. He just buys them and goes to the game and sits at the game with his hat on and with his son, and he's not interested. He just doesn't want to, you know, go to the chairman's function or anything like that. He's just like that, and that's why I've got a lot of respect for him.
Brilliant. Just a few quick fire ones, mate, to finish. Best player you ever played with?
I'll go Lee Broxham. I don't know if anyone of you know Lee Broxham, but he's a good friend of mine.
Toughest opponent you ever played against?
Messi, definitely Messi.
Most hostile venue you played in?
I was lucky enough to play in Napoli. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Napoli, but it's that's where Diego Maradona played. And I'll just give a little story. I know the quick fire, I'm not chewing everyone's ear. But over there, I remember going to my mate's wedding, an engagement party, and he's from Napoli. He linked arms with me walking the street. And this is the type of environment Napoli is. And I'm going, mate, what are you doing? You know, leave me alone. He kept linking arms with me. And he's like, you know, just leave it, in Italian. And I said, oh, all right. And I just linked arms with him and walked around. And he's like, mate, there's a mafia boss over there. If you don't link arms with me, I'm from here, you might think you're foreign and something might happen to you. He piggybacked me everywhere. So that's the type of environment you're in, and you know, you walk out onto the pitch and like, everything about, you know, your family, it was yelled at you. I'm pretty sure they had water bombs full of urine, it was terrible. But they're probably taking passion a bit too far. That's a bit too far. I want that passion, but you know, you don't need to throw water bombs full of urine at me.
Favourite footballing memory?
I think winning the trophies, either of the trophies that I won at Melbourne Victory, because one, they know how to celebrate a win. Unbelievable, like two week bender. It's unbelievable. But apart from that, I'm not a big drinker anyway. Apart from that, I got to have my family there, my kids on the pitch, you know, like holding the Premier's plate with your kids there. That's awesome. In Italy, you couldn't do that. You'd get mobbed, you know, you'd get bashed or something would happen. So in Italy, in Australia, it was fantastic to have the kids there, my wife, my mum, my dad, my sister, my brother, all on the pitch. it was awesome.
And the last one, what's it going to take for us to get you and the wife and the kids down here to be members of the Gisborne Cricket Club?
A few more free feeds.
We're good? Yeah, we're good. Awesome. All right, guys, put your hands together for Carl.
Thank you for having me. You've been very good listeners.
Leisha's has organised a little presentation for you, so just to cement that membership, we've got a little beanie and a training top as well, mate, for you to have training. So 6 o'clock Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'd like to see you.
Thanks again. Thank you for the gifts.